So are they doing the ceremony first in the gym and stuff, and then they'll head over for the presentations? Is that what they're gonna do?
I don't think there's a ceremony in the gym.
Okay, well, I just have that there's opening ceremony in Parents Night will start.
Oh, geez, yeah, in the library.
That's what it says.
Oops. Good catch.
Well, I wondered when they came and it was so close to time and nobody was here.
Yeah, that seems a little awkward.
It
Where's
does,
everyone
doesn't
at?
it? Yeah. Are you Mr.?
Mr. Rogge, high school principal. Oh, okay. No, no. Okay.
Yum, that is so good. Yeah. What's like a solid pulse?
Far back?
Yeah. Far back?
What happens in here?
Those people on the door.
Do you want to look?
On,
Or do you
right,
just wanna look
just
at
look
the-
on the glass. You think?
Yeah.
That was good. That was yeah, somebody has a, Missouri had a oh my gosh, you look so good. Hey, can I take a picture?
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. Same day or same time?
It will be actually, yeah, I'm actually modeling. Or I can also sit here and you can sit here.
We find out I just know very helpful. I want to be with my life easier to if we have two boys.
I just realized regular green, I have a friend who has 4 boys, so it's give me a little female face back.
Or you're gonna sit in the corner chair?
No, I was just fixing her book. And be,
Zuri needs to be present. It's very
yes. Oh my God. Almost boys, so I know how to do it. Okay, are you ready to get roses again?
Okay, you're looking for, where's the wheel driving from?
You're safe inside, don't worry.
Okay.
Rachel likes to have everything. So they got. Some of them are.
This one is
Oh, that was.
century. I'm happy, or like, no. I don't know.
You actually wait in Missouri?
Yeah, do we not, you just want me to start?
7:09.
Okay, and I said this.
Do you want to say?
You do it. Didn't prepare anything. This is a really great room. You got a lot of really good talented people that have a really great chance to be state speakers, and I'm really, really excited and really proud. There's been a lot of work, like an insane amount. Every day people are practicing. It's a lot. It can be a little overwhelming at times, but you're in for a treat.
Hi guys, I'm doing my humorous speech first, but I do want to remind you all to please turn your phones off, and don't be on your phone when other people are performing, because that's rude. So yeah, that's all, unless Zuri's at the door.
I hope she did.
I think we're good. We're just gonna start without her. She's seen it, okay? Okay. And I was like, baby, oh, baby, baby, baby. My makeup looks so good. Isn't that right, Justin Bieber? You're so beautiful. I can't wait to marry you. Ding dong. That's probably the first guess. This is going to be the best 12th birthday party ever. Just, please don't be Bridget. Please, God, don't be Bridget. Oh, hi, Bridget. Hi, can we come in? We? Hello. Judith, you decided to come? The spirits told me there would be a great gathering of dark energy here tonight. don't bring any dark energy in with you.
I work out 8 times a week. I bench press kids at my Sunday school. My teacher calls me a female Samson because of my great strength and excruciating body hair. We'll be fine.
When I was 7 years old, I had my worst birthday party. I invited a friend, my sister invited a friend, and not long into the party, I regretted my choice of friend. So when she left to use the restroom, my sister, her friend, and I were all talking some smack. Little did we know she was standing just outside listening to the entire conversation. Let's just say that was a rough party. Much like our main character, Amber, whose 12th birthday party erupts into chaos when 5 different personalities clash. Will they be able to overcome their differences, or will it remain a sleepover from hell by J.A. McAfee? So, this is my house.
It smells like strawberries and teenage hormones in here.
That's my Justin Bieber XXX perfume. It smells of love.
No wonder my parents got divorced. Their love smelled like burnt chicken nuggets and frustration.
This jar held spirits not 500 years ago. Can you please put that down? My mom would kill me if you broke it. Wow. Do you have a central storage unit? What? A closet in the center of your home. Yeah, right over there. Good. I must communicate with the spirits now. Let's hope she stays in there for a while.
So, what's the plan?
Well, first I thought we could do each other's makeup, then tell secrets, eat ice cream cake, take pictures for my scrapbook, and finish the night off by watching Justin Bieber's Never Say Never performance.
That sounds stupid.
Well, nobody made you be here.
My mom will be here.
You know, our moms may be best friends, but that doesn't mean we are, and we never will be. This is going to be the best 12th birthday party ever, and nobody's going to stop that, especially not you. Ding dong. That's probably someone who will actually enjoy my party plan. Free. Hi, Abby. Ew, don't talk to me. Oh, I see you invented the human trash compactor. She can eat for the both of us since I'm on a diet. I woke up this morning and I weighed 80 pounds. It was awful.
I can bench press 80 pounds.
Shut up, Bridget. You're like fat.
You, I'll destroy you.
You can't touch me because my daddy's a lawyer. Now, please tell me this isn't the entire party. My mom made me be here, so I better at least have a good time. Judith's here too. Oh, where is Satan's love child? She's in the closet. That's funny. I always thought Bridget would be the first one to come out of it. Ding dong. Free. Hi, Nadia.
Hello, I go to party. I like girls, yes?
Who the heck is that? Guys, this is Nadia. Nadia, this is Abby and Bridget. Nadia's a foreign exchange student from Russia living across the street with the Robertsons.
Justin Bieber, I will marry.
Back off, Nadia! You guys don't even speak the same language.
Apparently, the stupidity is universal.
I hate to break up this little love triangle, but do you happen to have an air purifier or something to break through the strong smells of Bieber essence and Bridget McManly things armpits over there?
All right, that's it.
Guys, let's not fight. How about we just do each other's makeup or something? What about Judith? Oh, I completely forgot she was even here. Her skin hasn't seen the sun in like 3,000 years. Let's go get her. Guys, what is she doing? OMG. This is freaking me out. Is she summoning the devil? My mom will kill me if she summons the devil.
when did you get your cat?
What?
Hey, Macarena,
Macarena bad juju.
who dare to disturb my communication with the spirits?
Can you please slowly hand me my cat?
The spirits need a sacrifice to accept my offering.
Well, I don't want any spirits here, especially not if you're gonna sacrifice J.K. Rowling. Get it? Like J.K. Rowling, the girl who wrote Harry Potter?
Careful, Amber. Your pathetic nerd is showing.
No spirit. Shoo. Close door.
Who invited the ghost whisperer anyway?
Bridget brought her. You invited her. My mom invited her. Plus, none of that matters now. We can't just leave her in there all night.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Who says we can't? I do. If we leave her in there, she'll probably keep summoning stuff that we don't want her to summon. I'm gonna let her out. No, no let out. She kill us.
All right, everybody stay calm. I'll handle this. Breathe. Amber disturbed my communication with the spirits.
You tried to kill my cat. Plus, I already told you I don't want any spirits here.
It's too late. The house now belongs to them.
Who says we can't put her back in the closet? No, you want to go home.
No worries. I'm done for the evening. The full moon has begun waning, and I must rest for the rising of the blood moon.
I guess I'm pretty tired too, but I'm not sleeping by the Princess of Darkness.
Yeah, me either. No night night white demon baby. Oh, I guess I'll sleep next to her. But if you guys wake up in the morning, thanks for coming to my 12th birthday party.
The spirits say you're welcome.
Don't worry, Amber. The spirits are probably being scared away by the strong smells of beaver essence. I know I would be.
Actually, it's their favorite scent. Good night.
Well, she said I could do it best if I was. You were just instant.
I know, but there are people that just let me know. Oh, I know. Do you also need time?
What?
Do you also want time?
I would like it. I would appreciate it. But if it's over, I'm not gonna worry about that too much right now.
Okay.
Are we good?
No, not time. Just one more check.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello. Okay, my name is Winnie. I'm doing Series Pros, as you can see in your little program thingy. All right. Here we go. July 3rd, 2023 started just fine. I was in Denver, Colorado for a conference. The only issue was that I had a bit of a sore throat. However, my role in this said conference was far too important for me to get bested by a little cold. So I rolled out of bed, put on my official uniform, did my hair, popped a Dayquil, and went to the conference center. The walk wasn't far, but in a heavy blazer in midsummer heat, it can become tiring. My mind felt muddled and I became fatigued. I was finally provided some sort of relief from the relentless heat when I approached the conference center and stepped into the air conditioning. I thanked the Lord at that moment for the utilization of electricity. As I walked towards the main doors of the conference room for the business session, I realized that the sickness might have been due in part to my discomfort with new places. I've always had trouble being away from home for long periods of time, and paired with a very stressful event in which I played a large part, made for a weird concoction of uncomfortable scenarios. Autism spectrum disorder is a chronic incurable neurodevelopmental disorder that severely impairs one's ability to interact, communicate, and deal with everyday life. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in 100 children worldwide are affected by autism. In 2016, I found out I was part of the 1% of adolescents affected by this disorder. Meltdowns, or intense and uncontrollable responses to overwhelming situations, are a common occurrence many with autism must learn to navigate. I am one of those people. Dive in depth into an experience with a meltdown in Shattered on the Spectrum by Winnie Huber. Instead of attending more sessions, I decided it would be a better idea to go back to the hotel room and get some rest before I had to speak at a meeting later that evening. I trudged my way through the conference center, ignoring the ever-present congestion and a growing sore throat. My heavy feet indicated I would need lots of rest and even more cold medicine if I were to be able to present at that meeting. Even though the long walk back to the hotel was nothing short of exhausting, the hotel lobby store offered my favorite sick day remedies. A bottle of water, Dayquil, and a pint of vanilla Haagen-Dazs. The warm comfort of the hotel bed welcomed me like an old friend and wrapped me in blankets. So naturally, I took a long nap in the hopes that I would feel better, then got up to get ready for the meeting. On the way to the conference center, yet again, my feet yelled at me for wearing heels and for joining an organization where heavy wear was required. And then I stopped, and I realized that all of that rest I had only served to make me more tired. And I honestly felt even worse. Dizziness and exhaustion plagued me, and it hurt just to think. It was like my brain was filled with cotton balls. But a slight fever and a stuffy nose were not the worst things that have ever happened to somebody, so the meeting continued with help from the strong, independent woman that I am. After the meeting, our group wanted to go eat at the restaurant market a couple of miles away. Dread at the thought of going with them pooled in my gut, almost like a sense of impending doom. But like so many other teenagers, my fear of missing out was greater than a new cold and an unwarranted premonition. So I went anyway. The walk there was nothing short of unpleasant, and I think that that's where my state of mind began to crumble further. My legs seemed to be filled with lead, and the way they dragged against the ground caused me to fall behind our group. So naturally, people started to ask me if I was okay. I wasn't, but there was no way I would let anyone feel pity for me. I could do it, I told myself. I was strong. Even though every step I took hurt and my head was pounding. A man in blue scrubs was limping and yelling and scratching at himself as our group crossed the street. It bothered me, most things do, but it wasn't until he threw a rock at me and yelled slurs that the thin line between control and chaos blurred. I'm sure it wasn't personal. He was probably just on drugs, but like so many times before, the spiral began and I knew that it wouldn't stop. My thoughts, they no longer felt like mine, and the simple monotony of walking that I so craved was disrupted by a random man in the street. The unfamiliar was uncomfortable, and the stimuli around me were too much to bear. Everything was too bright and too dull at the same time. The throbbing in my head became worse, off balance. The ground felt soft. I wasn't real. Life wasn't real. Nothing was real. meltdown was in motion, and nothing could be done to stop it. After what felt like forever, we arrived at the restaurant, and I made a beeline to the restroom, and I shut and locked the door. I didn't tell anyone where I went. At the stage I was at, I don't think I could have if I tried. In no time at all, I could not speak. I could only open my mouth in a way that taunted my vocal cords. I wanted to shout and tell people that I was in the room, but I couldn't. I was dissociating. I felt like I was suffocating, drowning, trying to claw my way back to the top. I was in hell. My brain was a cacophony of noise and of quiet, and the light was blinding, but the corners were dark and empty. I began to scratch and pull at my skin. I tried so hard to pull my hand away from the repetitive movements that were making me hurt, making me cry, making me bleed. I knew what was happening, but I couldn't do anything. All I could do was sit there and think about what I wanted to do. And I wanted to die. I wanted to go away. After nearly an hour, the intensity waned. It always does, and I was able to walk outside. I still could not speak. I could barely even think. I felt like I was a puppet being pulled by invisible strings. People asked me questions that I could not answer. Eventually, I was back. I was normal. I left the restaurant and recovered at the hotel. This whole ordeal was awful, but I was okay. Most of the time, I'm okay. I understand and accept that this is a part of me, and that autism cannot be cured. It will be stuck with me forever, and I with it. I will always have sensory issues. I will always hate being touched. I will always struggle with socialization. And I will always have meltdowns. The last time I was fine, but what if the next one I'm not? The consequences could be dire in any circumstance where safety is not a guarantee. The fact that I could die from an incurable disorder so cruel makes me more terrified than I'd like to admit. All because I can't control my own behavior. I'm scared to have kids because of the off chance my kid will have autism and I will have to see my own child suffer. Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and not recognized the person staring back? It's the worst feeling in the world. If there would be one thing I would change about myself, it would be this. I would give up almost anything. I wish I didn't have autism. Stop crying. Sorry. It is a serious patient. Sorry, guys. It's okay. Get up there. You need a second? Take a sip of water.
This will be a light one.
Yeah. This will be, yeah.
my friend Zuri Moore, and she's giving a persuasive speech about cobalt mining.
Okay. As school rolls on and we're forced to bear the cross of an education, students like myself find themselves wishing to be anywhere but in these cramped classrooms. Our feet tap restlessly against the grungy carpet, and our minds travel miles to be anywhere but school, kicking it back in the Bahamas, taking in the sprawling views of mountains in the Congo, breathing in the rusty rubble, feeling the copper dirt lay itself into every pore, struggling to breathe. The latter half isn't some dystopian daydream or a reference to an older, unsafe time. Instead, it is the reality for many children and adults in the Democratic Republic of the Congo today. But we're living in separate worlds from those people. After all, our government bans child labor, regulates workplace safety, and protects its people. But look around you. Look at the clock on the wall. Look at the watch on your wrist. Look at the phones on your desk. Many things in our world have been provided to us by them. Specifically, the cobalt used in our everyday lives that was mined by the people of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The cobalt mining crisis is unacceptable, and something needs to be done to end the exploitation in the Congo. In order to enact real change, we will first understand the economic effects and uses of cobalt. Then we will learn of the industrial rapine and ecological destruction of the Congo, and lastly, how we can make a difference. The first step in ending a crisis is recognizing there is a crisis. In order to enact real change, we must first understand the economic effects and uses of cobalt. Reported by a 2023 Statista Research Department article, some 190,000 metric tons of cobalt were mined from the DRC in 2022 alone, measuring up to about 70% of the world's cobalt production, using harsh labor practices, unfair pay, and child labor. The Minerals Education Coalition, an SME Foundation database, describes cobalt as a light, bluish-gray, brittle metallic element. Cobalt is never found alone in nature. It is found in an ore called heterogenite, which contains copper, nickel, cobalt, and occasionally uranium. In a 2018 McKinsey & Company article written by Marcelo Esvido, cobalt is the prominent ingredient in lithium batteries, meaning many of our rechargeable devices like smartphones, laptops, and especially electric cars contain large amounts of cobalt. In the 2021 United Nations Climate Change Conference, reported by Joe Hernandez from NPR, 31 countries declared they plan to move to all new sales of zero-emission cars and vans globally by 2040, causing the demand for cobalt to skyrocket. Natural Resources Canada states the DRC holds the largest reserves of cobalt in the world, shallowly buried in large raisins and across what is known as the Copper Belt. The 2023 World Bank article states, despite the DRC's vast beauty and riches, the people of the Congo have not benefited from this natural wealth at all. Instead, nearly 62% of people in the DRC live on less than $2.15 a day. Many people in the Congo live in extreme poverty. In fact, 1 in 6 men, women, and children. This is because there's little opportunity in the Congo to make good money. Families cannot afford basic necessities, let alone afford sending their children to school. And this is how so many Congolese are cornered into working as miners for cobalt. Within this chain of buying and selling lies a vast tundra of morally and legally questionable practices. Now that we can picture the economic effects and uses of cobalt, we can begin to learn of the industrial rapine and ecological destruction of the Congo. Hundreds up to thousands of Congolese work, sweating back to back in meter-deep pits where rubble piles into Olympus-like mountains. In Cobalt Red, a 2023 book by Siddhartha Kara, he asserts 10,000 to 15,000 mining tunnels litter the copper belt, very few of which have support beams, ventilation shafts, rock bolts, and collapse frequently. Carr recounts the aftermath of one of these collapses. A sea of miners churned with restlessness and fear. They were being pushed back by soldiers employed by the mining companies, and lying beneath the rubble was a motionless young boy, a child whose life was forced out of him. In a moment of numbing shock, Kara wonders if the rusty hue of the dirt wasn't from its copper contents, but from the blood spilled across this defiled nation. Children are forced to work in mines to support their families. The Global March, a worldwide network created to end child labor, discovered that 1/4 of children in the DRC work in mines. They estimate that nearly 2 million children between ages 5 and 14 are economically active in the Congo. In addition, the 2023 Abuses in the Congo article by Amnesty International states even those who are not directly working in the mines are ill-affected by the mining of cobalt. Villages are leveled for industrial mining sites, displacing thousands of Congolese villagers. Crops are burned for the furtherment of cobalt mining. Furthermore, a 2016 interview with Celestia Bonza, toxicologist with the University of Lubumbashi, states public health risks imposed by toxic pollutants in the air include metabolic disorders, tumors, burning within the eyes and throat, and even short-term sterility. A 2020 survey done by clinical journal The Lancet states children whose parents work along the copper belt were more likely to be born with birth defects. The future generations of the Congo stand no chance against a cobalt mining conglomerate unless we do something. In order to build a better future for our people and our planet, we must recognize and deconstruct every clog in this slick and grimy machine. The previously cited Amnesty International article states many household companies are aware of the cobalt mining crisis, but very few have taken effective actions to counter it. Companies like Tesla, Dell, Sony, Samsung, Chrysler, Volkswagen, and Microsoft have taken moderate to no action in ensuring their cobalt lines are clean. In Cobalt Red, Siddhartha Kara interviews his guide about how the mining industry could operate with such corruption, to which he responds, "There's an agenda to promote a false picture of the conditions here. The mining companies claim there are not any problems here. They say they maintain international standards, and everyone believes them, so nothing changes. Through centuries of exploitation, whether through slavery or occupation by foreign countries, the DRC has been built to benefit anyone except the very people who occupy that land now and have been for centuries." The Bureau of International Affairs states their strategy to end child labor in the DRC is to promote awareness on this topic, build the capacity of enforcement in the government, and to improve private monitoring of child labor. We can begin to make a change by holding companies accountable for their support in cobalt mining, limiting our consumerism, listening to Congolese speakers, contributing to relief organizations like International Rescue Committee, and writing our officials. Many companies claim to care about the cobalt workers crisis, but only do enough to get by regulations and keep a clean reputation. We will only be free once all of us are free, and we can start by taking action in the Congo. In order to enact real change, we first understood the economic effects and uses of cobalt. We then learned of the industrial rapine and ecological destruction of the Congo, and lastly, how we could make a difference. We must dismantle, fracture, and bend until the cogs spit and sputter and the machine begins to crack. We must combat and confront the oppressors of the Democratic Republic of the Congo until all men work for worth, wages, women labor with no worries, and children run freely in schoolyards. Until trees can rest, fish can breathe, and mountains stand untouched, we must speak out until there is nothing left to speak, and the people of the Democratic Republic of the Congo are finally free.
Oh, yeah, true.
I wish there was Okay, I'll just turn it on. This is my friend Reagan Ressler, and she is giving a poetry speech about the villain in her, in me.
To be a person that is like me is to be a bad one. A bad person. I lose my temper. I say the types of things that people say they don't mean, but I mean them. We've all done things we aren't proud of. Leaned into darker thoughts and had to self-correct before something nasty got out. Should I trip the man on crutches? What would happen if I objected at my grandmother's third wedding? Would I be that sad if my mom died tomorrow? Best-selling author Emily Ann Allen once wrote, "I think we all have a dark side if we're truly honest with ourselves. If we don't acknowledge it, then it's just a predator waiting to attack in the darkest moments." When your life consists primarily of dark moments, the darkness more easily permeates the boundary between the want to be good and the necessity to be bad. Being the villain becomes easier, more difficult to resist. Through the poems Villain Origin Story by Hannah, Ode to Villains by Laura D. Davia, Villain by LKE, and Transitions from I'm a Bad Person by Reagan Ressler, get to know the villain in me, a poetry program. I was a spiteful child, to say the least. I had 3 siblings and a hunger to always be the center of attention. My older brother had done something one summer day to upset me, and nothing had been done to punish him. I took matters into my own hands. Something important to know is that I'm allergic to aloe vera. My brother had just gotten a bottle to put on his sunburn. Devising sweet revenge, I snuck into the medicine cabinet, grabbed the bottle, and dumped it all over my own pillow, creating a crime scene with all evidence pointing towards him. That night, I went to my mom. With tears in my eyes, eyes breaking over my face! She didn't hesitate to punish him that time. I grew up quickly, just like the strong female protagonists I would read about. She was forced to save the world and solve the problems of the adults that came before her. What I didn't expect was that I would become the villain in their narrative. So when the world went to hell, I put on my armor. I retrieved the sword from the stone. I trained in battle. I learned the techniques. But when I found out what fueled the evil dragon's anger, I understood. Lucifer's rage began to make more sense to me. And I think I would like to set the world on fire too. So I packed my bags and I left in the blanket of the night. I joined the dragon's cause and was accepted for the first time in my entire life. If they're going to make me their villain, then I will accept it with open arms. Because I never got the chance to tell them. They're the villain in my story too. And they will no longer force me to hide the pieces of myself that make me who I am. In 7th grade, I had a best friend like most girls do. She told me that her grandfather was incredibly sick. Cancer, if my memory's correct. That day, I was in the girls' locker room, and I told everyone. Turns out, best friends are supposed to keep secrets, not share them like the last cookie. I apologized. A short while later, she told me her parents were getting divorced. I told the girls in the locker room. That day, my best friend didn't want to be my friend anymore. I cried and stayed home sick for a week, and I wrote her letters. When I returned to school, I made a new best friend. The older I get, the less I understand the heroes. I'm not one. I'm too terrible to be a hero. I'm simply a bad person. I make decisions I never thought I would make. It is my fault. I sit with the consequences like they're simply nightmares. Then I pinch myself, asked to wake up from horrendous reality. It never happens. Sometimes I dream of good things, of love, of happiness. Then I pinch myself and I wake up. Why did I wake up? Villains like me should sleep forever. One morning in freshman year, a younger girl I barely knew came up to me with a serious look on her face. She held her wrist out to me and showed me a small cut that could have been mistaken for a cat scratch. "Look what I did to myself," she said. That was her definition of self-harm. I was seething. The nights that I had spent carving words into my arms, slicing into my thighs and stomach and shoulders over and over again. I mean, there's scars on my body that are never gonna heal. The scratch on her stupid tiny wrist wouldn't be visible in a week. She didn't know the next thing about self-harm. I deserved to be the bitter thing I was. She deserved nothing. I could show her real pain. From the lips of my enemies I am born, from bitterness and demise. Bred from scorpion tails, discarded phoenix feathers, and the wreckage of ships tossed at sea. An angry burden of violent venom and ugly sorrow. The indignant villain queen, glowing powerful in her strange darkness. To be honest, I sound quite powerful. And I must admit I love it. For there is power in words, strength in the unknown, and beauty from the ashes. Let me be the villain. I promise I'll relish it. These are fleeting moments. But with each horrific thought I shed, there's another one waiting, one that's easier to succumb to than the last. My true form oozing its way through the pores of my skin. And I want them to know. I want them to see what we're all capable of. Everyone's a bad person, a villain! Some are just too feeble to show it. I'm not weak. I do not feel bad. I will not spend my days apologizing for the things that I've done. Because I've done them on purpose. I don't have to look for the villain in my story. I'm the villain in everyone else's.
Man, I'm gonna say hi to
my friend Jace Gregory, and she's going to be giving an entertainment speech about her top hottest quarterbacks. Is it 3? Top 3 hottest quarterbacks. And it's an entertainment speech, I forgot to say. It's not gonna be sad.
Hi guys, forewarning, my boards are not finished, so that's why. Alyssa and I have been working really hard, so give a round of applause to Alyssa, please. Also give a round of applause to me because I annoyed her the whole time while she was doing it.
Or 5.
Everyone ready? Yeah. You're on time. No, thank you. Football is my favorite sport. I know so much about it. For example, Travis Kelce, the tight end with a tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, is dating the most incredible and successful musician of all time, Taylor Swift. I also know that Travis's brother Jason Kelce, who played center for the Philadelphia Eagles, was nominated as one of People's Sexiest Men Alive of 2023. See? My depth of knowledge is unmatched. I love football. Players. Football players. I mean, that's why we all really watch, right? Today, we are going to be unveiling Jace's top 3 hottest NFL quarterbacks. Now I know what you're thinking. Why should I care about some weirdo high school girl's NFL crushes? And to that I say, we as Americans need to hold on to the little culture we have. Ballpark hot dogs, Top Golf, and super hot quarterbacks. So, without further ado, first we will snap the ball and reveal the 3rd hottest quarterback. Then we will pass the ball and discover the 2nd hottest quarterback. And finally, we will score a touchdown and unveil the hottest quarterback of all time. First, let's snap the ball and reveal the 3rd hottest quarterback. Now, just hear me out on this one. Peyton Manning. Now, I know what you're thinking. This take is hotter than the Dallas Cowboys Stadium in the middle of July. And to that I say, hold your britches, partner, and let me explain. My love for Peyton goes back to 2016 when he played for the Denver Broncos. That was the year they won the Super Bowl. 10-year-old me had better taste in men than I did in fashion. I would have totally died to catch Peyton Manning's eyes, like a regular 10-year-old girl would at a Jonas Brothers concert. You may also recognize Peyton from his hilarious nationwide commercials with Brad Paisley. You would think Geico would have swiped him with that giant caveman forehead. When I'm older, maybe I'll use Nationwide. Because I would love to have Peyton Manning on my side. Peyton is also in the Professional Football Hall of Fame. And he's owned over 20 Papa John's franchises in the state of Colorado. We both love pizza. We both look good in orange. And we're both Hall of Famers. Sounds like my kind of guy. Next, let's pass the ball and discover the 2nd hottest quarterback, Jalen Hurts. He is 6 feet and 1 inch of fatness. He has this sleek goatee mustache combo, better eyebrows than Kylie Jenner, and he has an earring. Jewelry on men? Sign me up. His last name may be Hurts, but he does not hurt my eyes. Now, he's not only hot, he also happens to be a very talented quarterback. In college, Jalen played for Oklahoma, but we won't hold that against him. Boomer sooner? More like, you'll be mine sooner. Now Jalen plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, the team that Taylor Swift's boyfriend's brother played for. Unfortunately, down on his luck. During his game versus the New York Giants, he dislocated his finger attached to his throwing hand. I shouldn't demonstrate which finger that is. As a result, during the wild card game versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jalen was seen wearing a glove on his right hand. This totally threw off his game. The Eagles lost 32-9. 32-9. That hurts my heart. The score wasn't pretty, but do you know who is pretty? Jalen Hurts' girlfriend. She's gorgeous. But not Jace Gregory gorgeous. Jalen, call me. Finally, let's score a touchdown and unveil the hottest NFL quarterback of all time. Joe Burrow. Joey B plays for the Cincinnati Bengals. That means that he's only 891 miles from me. Let's do a little math equation. Blue for Joey's eyes. If you take 891 minus 27, his age, and 18, my age, that equals 846. 846 divided by 18 equals 47. 47 minus 27 equals 20. Joe Burrow, 9 letters. My name has 11. 11 plus 9 equals 20. The data shows that we are soulmates. When I first saw Pinky, Joe, sorry, that's just a little nickname we use. When I first saw Joe, it was on my TikTok. Love at first sight. But don't even get me started on when they lose to the Chiefs. My Joey B should never lose to a quarterback who sounds like Kermit the Frog. My Joe has the voice of an angel and the face of an angel. He also has muscles, and muscles are hot. Unfortunately, Joe didn't get to play a full season this year. He tore a ligament in his right wrist, the most important wrist for a right-handed quarterback. But just because he was sitting on the bench, that doesn't mean he's on any roster. Well, the list has been revealed. And by the looks on all of your faces, I can see that you completely agree with what I had to say today. First, we snapped the ball and revealed the third hottest quarterback. Then, we passed the ball and discovered the second hottest quarterback. And finally, we scored a touchdown and unveiled the hottest quarterback of all time. In the wise words of myself, football players are hot. And if you don't mind, I would now like to take a moment to bless the room. Hooday!
Are you going up?
Yes,
You're
you
gonna
want
Oh, she's down there.
Right there.
I know. Like to what?
Eagle eye. Eagle eye. Screaming. I don't know what I'm missing.
That's my chair. This is Suhani, and she's doing an extemp speech, which is like when you write a speech like the same day that you perform it. It's kind of crazy. And her question is, does Florida's attempt to ban children from social media violate the First Amendment? Good job. Wait, the door.
No. She has an hour to present.
No, she says
She has 1 hour.
and she does it like 4 million times in a day. More like 3. Okay. That's a lot. once said, "The First Amendment is the foundation of our society, protecting our rights to express ourselves and seek the truth." This leads me to the question, does Florida's attempt to ban children from social media violate the First Amendment? To answer this question, we will first look at the First Amendment and why Florida is considering the ban. Then we will look at how Florida is going to ban, how Florida is attempting to place the ban, and if there are any other states considering the ban. And lastly, we will look at, is it constitutional or not? So let's start off by looking at what the First Amendment is and why Florida is considering the ban. According to the National Constitution Center, the First Amendment provides that Congress makes no laws respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting its exercise. It protects freedom of speech, press, religion, assembly, and the right to petition the government. So why is Florida taking a risk to violate this amendment? Based on CBS News article published on February 6, 2024, Florida proposed a ban on children's social media use is driven by the concern about the potential risks and negative effects that social media has on young individuals. Some of the reasons behind this initiative may include protecting children from online predators, reducing cyberbullying, and promoting healthier digital environment for minors. By implementing an age restriction on social media platforms, policymakers aim to ensure the well-being and safety of young adults. As issued in the article by AP News published on January 24, 2024, lawmakers backing the legislation also say that they wanted to safeguard privacy, arguing that there are plenty of instances where the state takes over parental rights to keep children safe. The other side is arguing how is the youth supposed to communicate, share ideas, and learn from one another without social media. Many kids express themselves by creative ideas and projects that require social media. Next, let's look at how Florida is attempting to place the ban and if there are any other states considering the ban as well. According to USA Today's article published on February 13, 2024, Florida is considering a bill that would prohibit children under a certain age from accessing social media platforms. There have also been discussions and proposals regarding social media bans on children in other states as well. Based on U.S. News and World Report's article published on January 24, 2024, several states have explored or introduced legislations aimed at regulating children's access to social media platforms. On the other hand, it may help protect children from online danger like cyberbullying, inappropriate content, and online predators. However, it may have a potential drawback as well. As issued in Politico's article published on January 25, 2024, it could limit access to educational resources, social connections could be hurt, and opportunities to express yourself might fall short. There's also a major risk of children going into depression and mental health problems as social media controls youth. Lastly, we will look at if the ban is constitutional or not. According to the First Amendment Foundation's article published on January 17, 2024, the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution protects the freedom of speech, including online communication. However, there are certain limitations and restrictions on speech, especially when it comes to minors. Florida's attempt to ban children from social media may raise concerns about the First Amendment, as it is potentially restrict their freedom of speech. However, it is important to acknowledge the fact that the government has the authority to regulate certain activities to the well-being of minors. constitutionality of such a ban would likely be subject to legal scrutiny and interpretation. Based on Spectrum News 13 article published on February 14, 2024, courts would consider factors such as the government's interest in protecting children, the necessity of the restriction, and whether less restriction alternatives are available. The U.S. government constitutionally does have the power to ban social media for youth. Today, I was presented with the question, does Florida's attempt to ban children from social media violate the First Amendment? To answer this question, we first look at the First Amendment and why Florida is considering the ban. Then, we looked at how Florida is considering to place the ban and if there are any other states considering the ban. And then, we lastly looked at if it is constitutional or not. According to Reuters article, as of February 23rd, Florida's Senate committee did pass an amendment social media restriction bill, making many are waiting to see the impact it will have. The First Amendment is the foundation of our society as it protects our rights, even if there is limitations for the youth. Annie, can I introduce you?
Yes.
Yes, I would love to introduce everybody.
You do.
This is gonna be my friend Annie Porcelain. Hers is really funny. It's about someone taking her to prom, and it's really funny. So I hope you guys laugh. It's also an entertainment. It's also actually it's an informative. Plot twist.
Sorry, that was very dramatic.
Oh no!
Everybody close their eyes.
Close your eyes, guys. Close your eyes.
Close your eyes, Mom.
No, wait,
Close your eyes.
I'll hold this.
Jason, what are you doing?
Sneak peek.
Huh?
You'll like it. No, it's just really kind. She did though. Brenna, how was the? How was throwing?
Actually, what I threw like 3 times before I left.
2 mile runs. So.
I did good. Coach Lewis told me I did good. Really?
He's an Olympic athlete too.
Yep.
Okay. All 10. The dress, the shoes, the magic. Prom is supposed to be the best night in every teenage girl's life. Last year, that wasn't the case. It was trial by fire my junior prom. It took me way too long to find a date, and when I finally prevailed, he dropped me a week before the big night. I then asked someone who was less than enthusiastic. His response was, I mean, I guess I could give you a ride. Eventually, his mom talked some sense into him, and he did end up escorting me to the dance. But he didn't talk to me or dance. And I walked home from post-prom last year. But this year, it's all gonna change. I have the shoes, I have the dress, I have all the appointments scheduled. The only thing I'm missing is a date. And that's why I'm asking all of you. First, we'll experience my glow-up. Next, we'll review the pros and cons of taking me as your prom date. And finally, we'll check out some of my ideal candidates. And that's why you should take me to prom. That'd kind of be weird. That's why you should take me to prom. First, let's experience my glow-up. I wouldn't consider myself an ugly kid. Other people might, but I wouldn't. My sense of style, on the other hand, was questionable. In 6th grade, my favorite outfits consisted of the most vibrant pair of fast fashion leggings I could find, and matching tops with inspirational quotes like, I don't want to talk about it. Or there's nothing like good friends. Not long after discovering my sense of style, I got braces. This is when the ugly really kicked me in the teeth. I got my braces on at the ripe age of 13, and I didn't get them off until I was 17. That means that I had braces for longer than the life of the Confederacy. Every photo I've taken during my teenage dream years, my pearly whites were clad in chastity belts. I gathered some visual evidence of my hideousness, starting off strong with my freshman year. As you can see, the bottom half of my face is covered, but I still managed to look like the warning sign posted outside of Shrek's swamp. The only good thing that came out of the pandemic was that you could only see the top half of my face. Moving on to my sophomore year. It was the night before homecoming, and I was going to be the prettiest girl there. Clearly, I aced it. If aces were low, but nothing prepares you for this next one. Isn't she a beaut? I wish I could tell you what I was trying to do in this picture. My best guess is that I was trying to rizz you up. Is it working? No. Listen, I've come a long way since my prepubescent puke fest. Now that we've experienced that, let's create a list of the pros and cons of taking me as your prom date. Starting with the pros. This. Okay, well, if that wasn't convincing enough, I also have a lot of other great qualities, like I can lick my nose, see? Seriously? No applause? Okay, well, did I also mention that I'm famous? My dad, a chronically online geriatric millennial, has a YouTube channel. And you want to know what the most viewed video on that channel is? It's my rendition of Shel Silverstein's Boa Constrictor, with over 3,000 views. That's 1/1,000,000th of the amount of views on Psy's Gangnam Style. But that was just the beginning of my path to stardom. Actually, 2 years ago, in my High School Musical, I played the role of Peter Pan. And all of my little brother's friends had a crush on me. Wait, why didn't they have a crush on me? That's none of my business. As you can see, I'm a hot commodity. I also have street cred with the older kids as your 2023 homecoming queen. Who doesn't want to take the homecoming queen to prom, right? Now for the cons. Or should I say con? There's only one of them, but it's pretty major. I'm a loser. I'm so desperate, I had to ask speech kids. Although I myself am a speech kid, to make matters worse, I'm also a theater kid. I know! The horror! Can you tell? But you know what they say. God gives his toughest battles to his strongest warriors. Now that I've laid that all out for you, let's take a look at what some of my ideal candidates would look like. I'll be frank. I'm not really in the position to be turning people down, but if there's one thing I learned from last year's experience, it's that I shouldn't just settle. I'm not above going by myself. I just thought I would give all of you the option to take this dime piece to prom. My top candidate would obviously be Josh Hutcherson. It all started when he starred as PETA in the Hunger Games. And man, was this girl hungry for some PETA. I would definitely take an axe to the skull for this hottie. You may be thinking, he's a grown man. But to that I say, I'm not just a girl, I'm a woman. The next contender is my 9th grade speech coach that looked exactly like Post Malone. We called him Hoax Malone. This is a picture of Post Malone, but if they were standing side by side, you couldn't tell the difference. I would never say this to his face, but I had the fattest crush on him back in the day. My head coach could never figure out why I would only practice in front of him. I would always say, "It's because I'm too nervous to practice in front of you." But I had ulterior motives. The next one is a little obscure, but and the girls that don't. It's Dimitri. You know, Dimitri from the hit classic Anastasia. He may be a one-dimensional character, but that's just like my social life. In the beginning, he's a bad guy, which really isn't my type, but by the end, he's a good guy. And in the musical, he sings. I'm a sucker for a good musician. If any of these descriptions fit you, please raise your hand. None of you? Okay, I guess I have to settle. We covered a lot of really important information today. First, we experienced my historically unrivaled glow-up. Next, we reviewed the pros and cons of taking me as your prom date. And finally, we checked out some of my ideal candidates. Hopefully, rather than feeling overwhelmed, you feel inspired to take the leap and ask me to prom. None of you? Guess I have to do all the heavy lifting. Would you go to prom with me? Hey, good thing. Nothing wrong with it. I like that your dad raised his hand.
Yeah, that was great. I really appreciate that you did that.
Did any of these descriptions fit you? Raise your hand.
Watch out. Yeah, that's fine. Let's just look back. You're ready for it. Okay. I will. My glasses. Or whatever. Are you choosing these really close? You have my
Do you want to give a warm spirit?
No, maybe you guys have like you're enough and then I'll introduce you guys. Yeah, maybe. But there's a little friends in here. You like it? All my and I'll introduce you. I think that'd be funny. What do you mean? We're lining up in order.
Oh, okay. Yeah, guys, fair warning, we changed blocking on Sunday, so if we do mess up,
Shut up.
so sorry.
And also, wait, round of applause because my dad's building a new box for us.
Just imagine it's like 4 inches scholarship. You can't see someone's head behind someone else's. Like, just imagine.
Just imagine, it'll be perfect at distance, guys. It'll be wonderful, and we will hopefully make
Okay, let her introduce.
Okay, guys, this is an oral interpretation of drama. It's called entitled 9 to 5, which was written by Dolly Parton. All right. First up, we have Annie Cortland as Dolly. We have Winnie Huber as Hart. We have Zuri Moore as Judy. And finally, Reagan Ressler as Violet.
And my character's name is Dorley.
It's Dorley.
It's not Dolly.
A reminder, please silence your cell phones if they are not already silenced, and please enjoy the show. Close the door, close the door. Someone close it.
Wait. Just giving you guys have to wait.
There are a lot of people in here.
The door back for a reason.
Good? Okay.
Ready?
This way, Judy.
This is quite a day for me.
I bet it is.
I was so excited. I left an hour early. I'm glad I did. It took me 45 minutes just to find a parking spot.
We park inside the building. I'll show you how to punch in.
I wanted to ask about salary.
That's a touchy subject. Take it up with our boss, Mr. Hawk. This is his office. I've never seen anyone leapfrog so fast to the top. I remember when he was just a management trainee. I'm the one who trained him.
What's he like?
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living, barely getting by. It's all taken and no giving.
They just use your mind and they never give you credit. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. 9 to 5. When 3 working class gals kidnap their sexist,
Egotistical.
Hypocritical.
bigot of a boss, they have a chance to make a real difference.
Violent. A dry, no-nonsense matriarch.
Judy, a naive newbie.
Dora Lee, your southern charm secretary.
And Hart, a sexist, egotistical, hypocritical bigot.
9 to 5.
Screenplay by Colin Higgins and Patricia Resnick. With music by Dolly Parton.
9 to 5.
I like to think, if there's a word that describes my philosophy of business, it's teamwork. Everybody working together. You girls, of course, never had the chance to play football or baseball, and I've always felt that's unfortunate, because I think it's the best place to learn what teamwork is all about. I remember Coach Fry used to tell us, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Suffice to say, it is a jungle out there. But if we work together, we can cut the balls off the competition and be sitting pretty.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad to work here.
You're a welcome addition, and a pretty one, too.
Thank you, sir.
Get to work. Violet, my girl, my wife's coming later on. I'd like to get her a present. Could you pick her out a nice scarf?
My job description doesn't say anything about making purchases for your wife.
Well, I like people who are flexible and get along. When I ask an employee, especially one who wants to be promoted, I expect cooperation.
Yes, sir.
Good. Is Dorley back yet?
No?
Get me a little coffee then, sweetheart. Just a skinny and sweet.
Yes, sir. That's Franklin R. Jr. But to me, he'll always be F-Hot!
Hi, Violet.
Oh, good, you're back.
How's everything going?
Your boss wants coffee.
I was just gassing up his car. If I'm not filling one tank, I'm filling another.
This is Judy.
Hi, Judy. Nice to meet you. If you need anything, just holler. I know what it's like to be new around here.
Thank you. Rumor has it she's banging the boss. She and Mr. Hart? I think that's terrible.
Dorley, would you grab your pad and bring your pretty face in here?
Yes, sir.
You know, I've been thinking, you mean so much more to me than just a dumb secretary. Here, I bought this for you. Picked it out myself.
Thank you, sir. You didn't have to do that.
Dorley, I'm crazy about you. You're all I think about.
I've told you, I'm a married woman.
But I'm married too, so that means it's perfect.
Mr. Hart!
You gave the promotion to Bob Enright. I got seniority over him.
I know,
For Christ's sake, I trained him.
I know, but the company
That
feels...
company bullshit. You promoted him. It's your decision. Why'd you do it?
My hands are tied. Clients would rather deal with men when it comes to figures.
You're just intimidated by any woman that won't sit at the back of the bus.
Now understand, I'm still the boss. You hysterical women might be valuable out there, but get a hold of yourself. I won't take this. Dorley, get in here.
Okay, but before I go, I'm gonna tell you one thing. Don't ever refer to me as your girl again. I'm no girl, I'm a woman. I'm not your wife, your mother, or even your mistress. What? I am your employee. As such, I expect to be treated equally with a little dignity and a tiny bit of respect.
What do you mean, mistress?
Never mind, she's upset.
The whole company knows you two are having an affair.
Who's been saying we're having an affair?
Who's been saying it? He is.
Well, no wonder they treat me like some dime store floozy.
That's not it.
I need this job, but this is the last straw.
Let's just sit down and...
I've got a gun in my purse, and up till now I've been forgiving and forgetting. But if you ever say another word about me or make another indecent proposal, I'll get that gun and change it from a roaster to a hen with one shot.
What a rat.
What a liar! What a creep to think he was telling everybody I was sleeping with him.
It's so unfair, just so unfair. 12 years of service and he shoots me down.
He can't keep getting away with this. We have to do something.
How is Hart? I hadn't seen him today.
He didn't say anything about yesterday.
He's too happy. His wife left this morning on a 2-month cruise.
Lucky her. Wanna grab lunch?
I can't. Hart wants me to take papers to his lawyer.
Damn it, when she's away, that only means one thing.
Coffee! Violet! Now!
Yes, sir. Who does he think he is? He's a miserable, petty, two-bit dictator. Ordering me around like I'm some flunky. I hate myself for being such a nerd.
He does it to annoy you. Oh, I think we're at a Skinny and Sweet.
I grabbed some from the store over lunch.
Well, the day's almost over. Don't let it get to you.
I keep telling myself the same thing, but I feel the pressure building. Something, somewhere, sometime is gonna snap.
Consolidated Industries, that's a Violet, please hold. Consolidated Industries, that's a Violet, please hold. Honey, someone that phone Consolidated Industries, that's a Violet.
Darling!
My goodness. Mr. Hart? Mr. Hart! Girls, Mr. Hart's unconscious.
Oh, I hope it's not too serious.
Me neither.
Maybe a little serious. Some trifle that'll keep him out of the office for 2 or 3 years. Oh my God. Oh my God! Judy, Dorley, hurry!
What's the matter?
Something terrible has happened.
Oh my God, how could you make such a stupid mistake?
I thought it was Skinny and Sweet. The boxes are identical except for the skull and crossbones on the front. I finished. I'm a murderer.
No, you're not.
I'm a murderess, my poor kids.
You didn't mean to kill him. It was an accident.
Accident?
She didn't do it on purpose.
Maybe unconsciously I did. I'm gonna lose my job. Calm down. I'm no fool. I killed the boss. You think they're not gonna fire me?
What are we gonna do? Nothing. We're gonna go home, pretend like nothing has happened, and come back in the morning. It'll all be fine.
Good morning, Judy. Good morning, Violet. Dorley, no calls this morning. I don't want to be disturbed at all.
What on
I
earth?
did put the poison in the coffee. I know it.
Well, he absolutely did not drink it.
I mean, how could we be so stupid?
Let's forget the whole thing.
It never happened.
I'll never mention it again.
Thank God it's Friday.
Let's start the weekend off with a drink at Charlie's. You know, we're so lucky. This whole thing is finally done and over with.
Wait a second, I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll tell Judy.
Mr. Hart, you wanted to see me.
Yeah, I did, Dorley. I'd like you to come to my house this evening.
I'm not working tonight, remember?
Who said anything about work? By the way, have you ever heard of strychnine?
Strychnine's a poison, I think.
Yes, it is a poison. Good job. I wasn't feeling very well last night, so I went into the hospital. They found traces of strychnine in my stomach.
What?
Luckily, I got the test because you need evidence if you're going to accuse someone of murder.
Murder?
Yeah, you and Judy and Violet tried to murder me yesterday. You put rat poison in my coffee.
Oh, Mr. Hart, it was all a big mistake. Violet put the poison in by accident.
Really? She might get a jury to believe that. She might not.
Just what exactly are you driving at?
It's simple. Come to my house, and I'll forget it.
You are disgusting.
Is that a no? Too bad. Don't forget, darling, I didn't start this. You 3 girls did all the plotting.
Well, I never thought I'd say this about another human being, but you are evil. That's right, evil to the core.
I love it when you get mad.
If you touch that phone, I'm gonna jerk it clean out the wall. I know you think this is all a joke, but you're gonna listen to me, whether you like it or not. I gotta figure out what to do. Judy, can you come here a sec?
Yeah, what's the matter?
My heart knows everything about last night. Heart knows everything about last night. What? He really thought we were trying to kill him. He was gonna have us arrested. Oh, dear God. Get in there and keep an eye on him. Don't let anybody in. I gotta go find Violet.
Dorley didn't mean any harm.
Just get me untied.
What happened last night was a series of misunderstandings. Violet put the rat poison in by accident.
Get out of my way.
Hey, you're not leaving this office, or I'll shoot.
here. I'm the boss. Don't you think I might be missed around the office?
Nah.
Do 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 do.
Franklin Hart's office? No, he's not here right now. Can I help you?
If we're gonna do this, why don't we make changes that really count? From this point forward, the time clock is retired, and this office will be implementing flex time. Henceforth, Consolidated Industries will be implementing a job sharing program for those interested in going part-time. Daycare will be available on-site for all working parents. From this point forward, join our Alcoholics Rehabilitation Program to turn your life around. Sign up with Dorothy.
I'll go check on Hart.
Judy? Judy! He found the gun!
I'm gonna send you hussy straight to jail.
Mr. Hart, Russell Tinsworthy, chairman of the board. He's on the phone for you. He likes all the changes you've implemented.
Changes? What changes? Who authorized all this?
You did, Mr. Hart.
What happened to the time clock?
You retired it.
Why are all these people here?
Another program you authorized. People set their own hours.
Some work 8 to 4, some 9 to 5.
Well, I'll put a stop to that.
It's working very nicely. Less absenteeism. People like it.
And the job sharing program.
Job sharing?
Maria Delgado is a perfect example. She shares her job with a worker who takes over in the afternoon.
And the daycare center.
Daycare center?
Our working parents love it. It's been open for 2 weeks now.
Don't forget about your Alcoholics Rehabilitation Program.
Mr. Hart, the phone call.
Hello? Frank Hart. You're my kind of guy, Frank. Creative, incisive, gets the job done right, sir. I want you to come work with me. Excuse me? I need a man like you, Frank. A Brazilian operation is just about to take off. Brazil, sir? You're gonna love it there. You're doing me a big favor. And the company. How could I move to Brazil? Come upstairs and we'll work this out. You can't tell me how much I appreciate teamwork. Go where you're most needed, when you're most needed. The jungle. I'm giving you the chance of a lifetime. 2 or 3 years and you won't want to leave. 2 or 3 years? You'll love it down there. Mr. Tinsworthy, let me tell you one thing. I ain't the kind of boy that takes no for an answer. Brazil?
Just see the look on his face?
I almost felt sorry for him.
We did it. We actually pulled it off and we didn't panic.
Tinsworthy loved what we did.
What are we gonna do now?
I mean, we've come this far, haven't we?
This is the beginning.
I'll drink to that.
To the beginning.
Violet is eventually promoted to vice president.
Judy leaves Consolidated to marry the Xerox representative.
Dorothy leaves to become a country western singer.
And Hart is kidnapped by a tribe of Amazonians and never heard from again.
Working 9 to 5.
I have to go give my paper to Bambi.
Yeah, Monday. Wednesday.